Hi Jennifer, it's very nice to have you here in Mexico. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm very happy to be in Mexico.
Top Gun is like the epitome of toxic masculinity in the 80s. But now seems like the characters are very aware of that changes, that the world has changed. How do you feel when you see this movie and the idea of everything that has accomplished?
I agree. The character Maverick is at a very different point in his life and a really interesting point in his life. I think has some very tender moments here. He's really asking himself some big questions that, is he, you know, they're asking, is he redundant at this point? He's really like questioning his identity and confronting ghosts in quite a literal way. I think it's a really interesting and different version of Maverick that's quite moving.
And how do you feel when you work with him now and this big star that has become after so many years?
Well, it's incredible that he's been the movie star that he is for decades, and I think it's testament, first of all, to his talent. He's a really fantastic actor. To his incredible discipline and tirelessness in the pursuit of excellence in his work. He is just takes nothing for granted, so it's skill and application, I think, and it's quite extraordinary.
This movie, it's about reunions with the characters because Maverick reunions with the guy with the son of Goose. Your character was mentioned somewhere between there in the first movie, but now we see her as a full entity. What do you think that your character brings to this new Top Gun?
I thought it was a great idea that they brought Penny into this story. Clearly, they hit the ground running with a lot of history between them. She knows him very well. I really appreciated that it was a grown-up love story in the midst of this kind of a movie, and I like that. I thought it was cool that they cast someone my age to be in the movie, and I thought it was great that she's such an independent and strong character. I love the way she clearly adores Maverick, but also understands who he is and sets boundaries with him and isn't going to let him derail her, in her, because she's moving towards happiness. She wants to be happy in her life. She's a character who's full of joy, I think. I think they're interesting together.
You and Tom and the producer Jerry Bruckheimer have worked since the 80s, and I know that sounds like a lot of time, but how do you feel with this new generation of actors working, and how do you see them as new young stars?
I think all the actors did a great job. I know they went through the actors who play the pilots went through incredibly rigorous training to do this and to bring those flying sequences to the screen, which I think are so impactful. They're great, really wonderful.
How do you feel that the audience is going to come to the movies and see this movie in the big screen in IMAX maybe, and how do you see it's gonna happen like that?
I say if you can, see it on the biggest screen you can, because to me the flying it exceeds expectations. Tom, there's just no one better at figuring out how to capture that kind of action. And they've really accomplished something extraordinary, I think. So, and the sound is amazing. And, it's a sweeping blockbuster movie that I think is really satisfying. So I think it's fun to see that on a huge screen.
Thank you very much for your time, Jennifer.
Thank you.